Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the stream. We're going to get the mic ready here. For some reason, whenever we replug the mic in, we're getting very low sounds. So let me change the levels here. Okay. Hey, how's it going, guys? So we are here with Polaris Sector, of course, and we're going to get started in about 4 minutes, give or take. So make yourselves comfortable. And I'm going to open up the Twitch page. Hey, Zerith, good to see you. I think you're new to the stream.
Ehi, che cosa ci fai qui? Questa è la mia live, non la tua. E poi non mi somigli per niente, vedi di andartene. E qui
How's it going, Beryl? It's good to see you too, man. Roadie Metal, I'm free today. My wife isn't here. That's good. How's it going, Beryl? It's good to see you. Tesco, we're probably not going to be playing with Space Koalas today. Roadie Metal, I'm free today. My wife isn't here. That's good. How's it going, Beryl? It's good to see you. Tesco, we're probably not going to be playing with Space Koalas today. Roadie Metal, I'm free today. My wife isn't here. That's good. How's it going, Beryl? It's good to see you. Tesco, we're probably not going to be playing with Space Koalas today. Roadie Metal, I'm free today. My wife isn't here. That's good. How's it going, Beryl? It's good to see you. Tesco, we're probably not going to be playing very soon. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, I saw that, guys. We had the echo of the game in the background. Things should be back to normal here in a second. There is a 10-15 second delay, so you'll probably be noticing that soon. Hello, Oxybells. You look new as well. Good to see you. All right, guys, about 2 minutes away from our stream. We're going to jump up, and we're going to be playing as the Lumens here in Polaris Sector. Teskier says, I thought I had a conversation with God. I might want to get that checked out, unless you're one of the chosen. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump in here. I think 1 minute before... Oh, I think we have a fire alarm going on here in the office. Okay, we're going to jump in, guys. So, of course, you guys take a look at the new Lumen screen. You might notice this is a bit different from the base game, the actual screen itself. We're going to go ahead and jump into New Game. So let's click on New Game, and of course we've got all sorts of different galaxies we could choose from. We've got the elliptical galaxy with the central segment, the segmented galaxy, and all sorts of different ones. SCs, SBs. These are basically circular galaxies, very similar to our own Milky Way. I'm going to go for the elliptical galaxy, only because this is... honestly, you know, very open, so it's kind of easy to move around. As you can see here, we can actually change the number of stars. We could change the tunnels. We could also change research speed to actually increase or decrease research speed. But right now, we're just going to keep it very simple. So Roadie Metal is asking if this is a good game to start with for a sci-fi player. I think so. I mean, there, especially this kind of game is going to be something it's going to be new to you. You know, you're certainly going to have to learn a bit, but I think you'll do just fine. I'm going to go ahead and just choose a normal, moderate AI, and I am going to proceed to race selection. I'm also keeping pirate attacks on. For anybody that's new to the game or new to the, or like for instance for you, Roadie, I would take this and I would turn it off because this is going to frustrate you. You're going to be building your empire, and then all of a sudden a bunch of pirates are going to attack, and it's not going to be good. So here we go, guys. We'll take a look here quickly through all the races. I want to raise my mic volume a bit, unless you guys think it's good. So let me know if it's good or if we should raise it a bit. So we've got the Shadatar, and of course you can go through all of these different races and take a look at them, their positives, their negatives, etc. And sort of select which one you like. Now this one, the Vegalars, are an adorable species, but believe me, they can get pretty vicious. Hey, how you doing, Brazook? Good to see you, man. Organs, and we've got the Lumens, guys. This is the new race here. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know what the Lumens are about. Pure light that can take any form, Lumen can even moderate how brightly they shine. They'll dazzle you one minute and light fires the next, and while they masquerade as angels of light, they are evil beings who would conquer the world if they only had the desire. Instead, they prefer fights that could go either way. They draw their energy from stars, so long flights aren't their cup of tea. It's much easier to just attack anyone who ventures into their systems and resort to piracy as the need arises. They don't have a strong taste for other beings' things, though they're partial to a quaint little knick-knack every once in a while. Instead of holding on to their loot, they just sell it or trade it. They can easily melt metal, they shape rocks, and they can vaporize water. Nobody really understands or can explain their culture or art. So a really fascinating new race here, and as you can see, they look way different than the other races. I almost reminds me of like the old ones from an H.P. Lovecraft novel. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that. Now, you can go through culture and everything. We're not going to go through every single thing, because actually it's quite long and quite fascinating. Hey, Cloud, how you doing, man? So we're going to jump here, guys, into our galaxy and get started. So, first things first, right? I want to go ahead and I think what I want to do, 1 second. I'm going to just turn the volume down a little bit. I don't know if it's bothering you guys, but to me it's just a little loud. All right, let's see if that helps. So, first things first, we've got this freighter. This is a scout freighter. So what we need to do is try and go to other planets, research what's there, you know, try to find new planets we can colonize and move from there. Now, I will admit, my experience with Polaris Sector, I only recently really started playing. You guys have mentioned a few other games down below there. I'm much more familiar with them, but I just recently got into Polaris Sector, and extremely fun. So the first things first, we've already found an Earth-like planet, Zebal-1. I'm going to go ahead and plan my colonization of this planet. Now, I like to go for balanced initially, and, you know, focus on that. Then again, if you take a look here, there are a lot of explored mineral deposits on this planet. So I think I'm going to cancel colonization, and I'm actually going to make it a mineral-based colonization. So what's going to happen is, this way I don't have to focus on building every single building on the planet. Basically, the AI will build those buildings for me and try to create a planet that is producing some sort of resource. This planet here at home, same deal. When you first start the game, you're very lucky to start with a planet that's already been built. And as you can see here, you can actually see some life on this planet. You can see sort of, you know, maybe what could be satellites or spaceships moving around. You see a few lights on the dark side of the surface. And as you grow your planets, as you build more things on it, this planet is going to look more and more and more and more alive, which I really like. It's really a nice touch. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here, and right now we're waiting for Zebal. We have to wait 5 years and 7 months for this planet to finish building the colonizer. So we are going to fast forward here very quickly, and probably a good idea is to get a defensive fleet going fairly soon, especially since we've kept pirate attacks on. It's something that we should take a look at. Here we go. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, right now we control this part of the galaxy. We've only taken over another planet, but now we've taken over the planet of Sator as well, or the Sator system, the Sator solar system. And of course we're going to continue, keep on trying to find more planets. Something interesting in the Chejat posterior system. So the interesting thing is this, a cluster of asteroids. Before we actually can research this cluster of asteroids, we need a ship with a container transport module. So this is actually something that takes a while. And I'm actually going to show you guys just a quick look here at the research. As you can see, research in this game is dramatic. There are a lot of things to research, and this is only a tiny percentage of them. So this is not a game that you can really play in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. This is a game that really takes a long time to develop. Now that doesn't mean that if you don't have a lot of time on your hands, you can't play the game. That's not the case at all. It just means you're gonna have to pause, you know, reload, pause, reload, etc., and just do a lot of saving. Because this is definitely a game that takes a while to sort of build your fleet up. Speaking of fleets, I do want to start building the defensive fleet here at Light Primo, but if we do that, you have to understand that fleets cost money, and that's definitely a concern. So I think I'm going to wait a little bit to build the fleet, and that's a bit dangerous. to be honest with you. Another thing we have to keep in mind is our fuel level here on our scout. Oh, look at this. We're observing a large number of hyperspace tunnel outlets in the Z Eridanus system. A system like that could be strategically crucial even without any developable planets given the amount of space it controls. We'd better get a military satellite over there to establish a strong defense. We're a ways away, unfortunately, from a military satellite. But it's good to see Eridanus here. We will definitely be coming back. What I was explaining before is we have fuel here, and the fuel is going to determine how far we can move before having to head back. And look at that, we found another planet. Now this planet is oceanic, and it looks like it's mainly a science planet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan colonization, and I am going to make this a planet of innovation. There we go. So the people on this planet will be scientists, and we'll move forward. Cable Nexus mentioned that he plays mostly on slow or snail speeds. So these kind of games takes a while before I go into war. Yeah, I kind of usually do the same thing. One of the reasons I'm going a little bit faster here for you guys today is I want you to see as much as possible. Like I said, this game takes a while to develop. It's not just instantaneous. You know, but after a while, you get some incredible stuff happening, and then you take a nice portion of the galaxy, you start wars with other species, etc., and it really becomes fascinating. Now, as far as the Lumens are a really interesting race, to say the least. First of all, before I do anything, I want to colonize these guys too, and let's go for a balanced colonization. This looks like a pretty planet. The Lumens are definitely evil, without a doubt. Even though they're beings of light, they are extremely evil. Personally, when I'm playing Polaris Sector, I prefer to go for an economic/diplomatic approach, not a war approach, even though I think that the battles in this game are some of the most fun battles you will find in any sci-fi game. That being said, I really try to go for the calmer approach, but since we're playing as the Lumens, we're going to have to play as the Lumens, pretty simply. We're going to have to start, you know, building the fleet, getting that fleet ready to fight, and going out and hunting the enemy. Now remember, the Lumens aren't really about conquest. No, the Lumens would much rather just let you roam into their solar system and destroy you there. They're not going to go to the trouble to go all the way to your solar system and mess around. It just doesn't interest them. You know, they've got better things to do. Let's keep on moving here. And of course, I will remind you guys, this is a DLC for the actual Polaris Sector game. So if you like this, this adds a tremendous amount of actual scientific research updates and upgrades to the game, so that you can research more. It also adds, of course, the Lumens race. I would definitely take a look at the news item we have on the Polaris Sector page on Steam, and take a look and see if it interests you, see if the new updates interest you. So that's a tough question, Rhodey. I don't want to be, I really can't, I don't want to say. You know, obviously they're both our games. I like both of them. I would say that, no, I'm gonna remain silent on that one. I think both are good, I really do. But I think it's kind of like comparing apples to oranges. Personally, I really like Distant Worlds Universe. That's just me, and I think it's because I started playing Distant Worlds Universe before I ever played Polaris Sector. Had I played Polaris Sector first, I would say visually Polaris Sector is more appealing. So as you can see here, there's a wormhole in the Epsilon Vulpecula system, and this wormhole, once again, to be able to get here, we're gonna actually have to send one of our ships in for a jump. And I'm not sure I want to do that. In fact, I'm certain I don't. Well, you know what? Let's go for the wormhole jump. Oh, okay, that was kind of cool. So here we are. We're on a totally different part of the galaxy. Also, yes, Distant Worlds Brazook has a lot of downloadable content, or not downloadable content, a lot of mods that users have made. I remember, for instance, playing the Star Trek mod for Distant Worlds Universe as the Klingons. That was really fun. Look at this, we found something else here. The Space Anomaly, and once again, we need to wait for a container transport module, or else there's not much we can do. Now, this ship, for all intents and purposes, is totally lost to us. We're not going to be getting that ship back unless we can go back into the wormhole, which I don't think we can. No, we can't. But unless we can find a habitable planet, because as you can see, we're running out of fuel very quickly. Pause a bit. Now, as time passes on, as time progresses, you're going to be able to colonize planets that you thought uncolonizable eventually. So you're going to be researching stuff that's going to allow you to actually build different things that allow you to colonize said planets. Our observers detected artificial activity in the Delta Crook system. It looks like we've come across an intelligent alien civilization. So now, we have to decide if we should make contact, and if so, in what manner. How strong are they? Are they behind us in their development, or are we the stragglers? Are they warlike or peaceful? Is it even possible to communicate with them? That's what we'll have to find out. So we're going to try to get to the Delta Crook system. I actually already see one of these ships. I think I know what aliens these are as well, and they're not peaceful if they're the ones I'm thinking about. But they're pretty far from us. There we go. Sure enough, we managed to find an oceanic planet to colonize. But again, I'm not going to colonize all the way over here. Maybe I will eventually, but for now, I'm going to keep things pretty straightforward. Let's say that. So our colonizer is, of course, moving to that planet. We're not playing as quickly as we were before, but the actual amount of speed increases you could do in this game is substantial. So we could actually do this, and look at that. I mean, it's just years are going by every few seconds. All right, so we're beginning our colonization of Light Secundo. And of course, if you guys want your name, if you want us to name the planet after you, let us know, and we'll do it. Any planets, any fleets, we'll name them after the viewers. I'm also going to go ahead and start building some new ships. I'm going to get a strike corvette. I'm going to build a carrier. For now, I'll just keep it at that, and eventually we'll start moving them. All right, we'll name a planet Brazook. Very well. So let's go to Zebal. This one is fairly new, and we're going to name Brazook. We can do that later. All right, we're gonna go to the next planet here. Light Primo. This is the newest planet, so we're gonna call it Laird Shendel. Ah, Slothtopia, I like it. And actually, it works out because the Lumens, like I mentioned before, you know, they are a warlike people, but they're not interested in going out looking for war. They're interested in war coming to them. So I guess you could call them kind of sloth-like, to be honest. Okay, so that's our main planet. So we'll name Light Secundo after Slothtopia. Yeah, pretty cool. I also like renaming the planets because it sort of gives you a bit more respect for them, if that makes sense. We could also rename the solar system here. So I'm going to call this one the Shendel system. Shendel system. Nice, look at that. I love these guys to, of course, sort of meet in the middle here. And of course, as you grow, as you build buildings, etc., what's going to begin to occur is this gap will close. What we don't want to happen, we don't want an enemy fleet or even a neutral fleet popping in over here and starting a planet. That's going to mess up all of our plans. And there we go. We've got our first ship. Oh no. The drills! I knew there was going to be the drills. I told you guys that we were meeting up with a very dangerous race, and I was right. So, I'm going to say welcome. Let's exchange embassies. We don't know what sincere feelings are or what trust is. We are alone in the universe, but we'll speak to you. I like their thought process. Pretty interesting. So, the drills. Now, I think they're very far from us. If I'm not mistaken, they're over here. I'm almost certain of that. We've got our fleet construction complete. Now, if you have two fleets, these guys already merged together, but I'll show you guys how to merge a little bit later. Pixel said he looks unsociable. Yeah, I would say so. I would say definitely that's the case. All right, now one thing I haven't done, I've been a little lazy with the scouting. So I want to go ahead and get a new ship, and I want to get a scout. Try that again. Also, we're going to get some police. I don't think that our actual race needs police. They seem to kind of know how to police themselves pretty well. But we're going to ask for some police anyway to sort of watch the surface, etc. And new research area introduced, creating special drugs and esoteric practices that provide an incredible boost to the Lumen's natural sensitivity to subatomic fields and particles, something they use to study and find new ways of interacting with them. Wow. So this particular research module is entirely based on the Lumens. I didn't think they would have, you know, race-specific research, but they definitely do. And the zeptosensation is one of them. So we know now the Lumens are a fan of drugs to increase their senses, really. Just fascinating. Yeah, thanks. I think Cable gave the best answer here. Really the best answer. Polaris, I'm gonna, of course, quoting Cable Nexus here. Polaris I picked up afterwards, and it's just impossible to compare them. Polaris is more abstract, I think, a matter of taste. I think it's the best space game on a strategic, tactical level. I really like what he said there, and I think that's the case. I don't really think it's fair to compare Distant Worlds and Polaris. I think, you know, sometimes I'm in the mood for Distant Worlds, sometimes I'm in the mood for Polaris. It really depends. Let's see. I definitely think visually Polaris is much prettier. And here we go. This fleet composition is unknown. We might want to check that out. Let's see where let's get our scout. We're going to send him over here. I'm actually going to lower the speed a bit, and I'm going to take my fleet here. Actually, I'll wait for a few more fleets before I go and try to attack the enemy. Now, if you take a look over here, and this is a cause for concern, if you guys look at our gravitonium, our fleet consumption is eating up a bit of this. We're producing 1.55. The planets are also eating a bit, and we need to make sure that none of these go below a certain level. If we start losing the resource, if we start, you know, not making enough of the resource, it's going to put us in a really, really difficult space. So I'm going to stop colonization temporarily. I'm going to stop building temporarily, and I'm just going to let us sort of slowly but surely, you know, increase our knowledge of the areas around us. Okay, here we go. So we're going to keep on basically locating other planets, guys. And one thing I must say is very important in this game is you've got to be exploring almost on a consistent basis. I think one of the most important things, the best bits of advice I can give, is try and grab a piece of the universe for yourself. I don't just mean like a tiny piece like this. I mean try and get these two pieces to meet in the center so that this is one large area. And that way you can't have enemy fleets, you know, starting a planet right here, for instance. Then, of course, you've got a sort of border between your two solar systems, and that's never fun. Thank you, SMS Digital. So SMS Digital says, fantastic game, really glad to see the updated content. I'm sorry you missed the first part of the stream because we looked at the Lumens, the actual Lumens race. And I'll actually let the users here give you a little rundown because I want to see if they understand what the Lumens are. I already gave a rundown for a while, but I want them to give you a little rundown here in the chat and see if they can describe the Lumens to you because they're a pretty fascinating species, I must say. All right. So at this point, we're bringing the ship back only to go to Beta Vulpecula and take a look at what's there. Another thing I should mention is this fuel, you know, I mentioned it before, but I don't think I was sincere enough as to how important it is. So this fuel can eventually run out. So if you're like out over here somewhere and you run out of fuel, you're not getting back. The way to save a ship in that situation is just to send another ship of the same class. You could send another scout ship. They'll refuel the ship, but of course, unless you have like a planet that you've built somewhere over here, or that you're working on somewhere over here, you're going to be in a rough spot in terms of getting that unit back. So let's go ahead and continue. Another thing, and I want to show anybody who's just gotten to the stream how beautiful the planets are. This is our main planet, the Laird Shendo planet. And just look at that. So remember, guys, when we first started, there was only like 1 or 2 ships moving across the planet. Now you can see a bunch of ships moving across the planet's surface. And if you look at the dark side of the planet, you can see a few lights down here, but that's actually not that impressive. It can get a lot more impressive the more we build. But just the more you put on the planet, the more you can see. I just think it's really, really fascinating. Yeah, why not? Let's build another ship here for the fleet. I'm going to build a strike corvette. Just one. We'll take this one and we'll go to Merga. Oh, wow, that's cool, Cable. So, yeah, I should have mentioned the customized ships. If we go over here, there's a ship designer button, which lets you sort of build your own ship. Really cool stuff. And the way Cable Nexus explains it is really fascinating because you can really build a ship to do just about anything. He built a ship that's basically entirely made for refueling other ships, which I think is really cool. But this just goes to show you the in-depth stuff you can do in this game. And like I said, a lot of this ship designing has to do, of course, with the research you're doing. So if you want to work on, you know, monadology or something like this, medium armed turrets, you know, for instance, there's a lot of stuff here that's going to increase what your ship can carry. But a lot of this stuff, like for instance, the xenopsychology, it's going to take 1,000 years. 1,000 years! And that's how this game is. You know, it's definitely something that needs to be played over a long time, you know, over many weeks, many months. You know, I have save files from months ago that I haven't completed. Not even close to completing. But I like that. For me, you know, the replay value of a game is extremely important, and this game has a ton of replay value. I don't know why this just occurred to me, but the name of this solar system, Ferkard, just reminds me of, like, Picard from Star Trek in an alternate universe, and that's what his name would be. Like, Captain Ferkard. Maybe in some weird alternate universe where Star Trek exists. Alright, here we go. Getting back to our system to refuel, and as you can see, we're almost out of fuel. Got our fleet construction complete. Two strike corvettes and a carrier, and as you can see, our radium is really getting quite low. That's not good. So we're going to need to find a way to either find another planet where we can mine radium or just wait for the economy to turn around a bit. Yeah, Cable, it's, I mean, there's absolutely some truth to that, and that's why I keep reiterating that with this game, you know, this is really a game that takes a tremendous amount of time to master. Not to master, I mean, you can get pretty good at this game fairly quickly, but to be able to actually manipulate it and, you know, get through it quickly, that's impossible. This is a game that takes quite a while to get through. And look at this, we've met the evil enemy here. I'm not sure what they're called. What are these guys called? Welcome, Star Brothers. Showed us peace in a battle cruiser. Okay, come in, but hurry. They're a little weird, these guys. So as you can see, we now know that there's an enemy fleet over here. Several small ships in that fleet's composition. We could technically go to war and take these guys out. We would need to build a unit transporter. So the way this works is this. For whatever reason, and I'm not sure what this is, I'm sure it has something to do with the Lumen culture, but we can only build police on this planet. So usually you have a few different units you can build, like a strike force, etc. Here we only have police, but police can still conquer another planet. Now the way to go ahead and do that is we want to build a new ship, and we want to get a troop carrier. So we build one troop carrier. And of course, one troop carrier can't carry every single troop you have. So if you've got like thousands of police, you're going to want to build, you know, 4 or 5 troop carriers. Edoranus. Yeah, there's a planet called Edoranus. Yeah, there's a lot of funny planet names if you basically just kind of look around the map. You can find some interesting stuff. Just jump in here. Canis minor, small dog. In Latin, that means small dog. So Canis minor, tiny dog. We should call this Chihuahua Galaxy. Another thing really cool about the game, and this I have to discuss. I'm guessing that those of you that have played the game before already know about this, but the stars in the game are modeled after stars in our own galaxy, and you really learn a lot about the life expectancy of stars. You learn a lot about the different colors of stars and what they mean. So let me give you an example. We're going to go ahead and take a look at one of the red stars over here, this one for instance. So this is a class M star, and this is by far the most common star in the galaxy, and basically what this means, 76% of stars in the galaxy are going to be this M-class star. They're also known as a red dwarf. You've probably heard the term red dwarf before. These are tiny stars, and usually not as hot as, for instance, our modern sun. We have a sun that keeps us warm for the most part. These tiny stars can't really keep a planet warm. The planets around them, unless they're like, right up close to them, are going to be very cold. They're not going to have any life on them. It's just basically not a dead star, but sort of the beginnings of a galaxy. Now, if we go over here, we have a star spectral class K. K-type stars are orange stars that are slightly cooler than the sun. So just slightly cooler than our own sun. They make up only 12%, so 1 in 8 of all the stars in the galaxy. And here you get mostly desert and frozen planets. Now, depending on the race that you're going to be playing as, you might want to go to a desert or a frozen planet. For our race, the Lumens, we happen to prefer Earth-like planets. It's just what we like. But you can actually have various different races that like a completely different kind of planet. This one also seems to like the Earth-like planets, and they do have some ground forces here. I wonder if our police could take out their ground forces. I really wonder. We're still waiting for the troop carrier. Okay, nice. We just got some heavy armor available, and this is coming in perfectly. Using smaller whiskers from the heavy metal carbonitrides boosts the protection this armor offers without sacrificing in terms of bulkiness. I'm also going to increase the science points I'm using here. It's going to be a little expensive, but I'm going to bring it up to 55%. All right, so this is a troop carrier, guys. So what we do here, we onboard troops. We're going to select the 200 police on board our planet, and we're going to drop them right there on the ship. Now I'm going to move this ship, if he's able to, I think he is, over here. We're going to bring our corvettes, and this might not work out very well at all. I mean, in all honesty, we might fail miserably, but first I want to see if we can get to that planet. So let me get to this planet first, because one of the issues, especially with the fact that we're Lumens, the Lumens, again, they don't focus on long-distance travel. That's number one. So we're not going to be moving as far as most other races would with this amount of fuel. And the other issue is these corvettes don't have a lot of fuel to begin with. So getting here might be impossible until we build another planet, or we colonize another planet, I should say, close by. So right now, these corvettes are stuck here until we can somehow colonize a planet over here. And that takes time, so that takes research. Eventually, we'll be able to research so much that we could colonize the most inhospitable planet imaginable, like, for instance, this desert planet. And what we need for this one is an atmospheric dome. So it's kind of like a protective dome that goes around the planet, where we can sort of manipulate the atmosphere to suit our own needs. Okay, pirate fleet detected. Ooh, now maybe this one we can deal with. Let's go for it, boys, because I really want to show you the fighting in this game. It's quite fun. Let me see if I can get there. Come on, come on. We don't want pirates near us. And it's going to be a very even fight. I think the enemy is slightly better off. You can see here they have a higher chance of winning, but we're going to get started, boys and girls. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and just go to 3-speed. Moving in our carriers and corvettes. And we're going to be targeting these pirates right here. Now, of course, I'd like to get these guys in formation. Oh, my goodness. Those fighters destroyed us almost instantly. Take out the fighters. Get them, boys. So, of course, they've got a bunch of fighters on board. We haven't taken any fighters on board our carrier or our strike corvette, although the carrier is able to carry, of course, the fighters. We can also see the other weapons here on the carrier, impulse lasers, small plasma missiles, etc. These are all very important, and of course we're working on better weapons. In this game, you're always evolving, and I really like that. Come on, fire on the enemy. Come on. Just gonna try to move these guys close to one another. Yeah, we're definitely not gonna win this battle. Sadly, we have no fighters, but that's a good suggestion. I'm actually going to lower the speed here a bit, because I want us to enjoy the actual battle. As you can see, we're already firing at the enemy fighters. We've already killed a few of them, but they keep going back to their ship to, I guess, sort of refresh their fuel and their health. And I'm going to go ahead and target this Corvette. Come on, boys. 4 Lumens! Oh, we're getting hit really hard. I'm trying to take out at least one of the enemy ships before we get destroyed, but I think that might be too much to ask. Sure enough it is. We'll target the enemy fighters at least. I want to finish that ship off. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. You can do this. We are Lumens! Hey, V-Redster. How you doing, buddy? There we go, guys. A nice kill on one of their ships. Now, sadly, we are going to lose the battle, but I like to think that we put up a good fight, and of course, now we know we have to build a bigger fleet. Another positive aspect of losing a fleet outside of your solar system is, and I can say this because we're Lumens, you don't have to pay them anymore. I mean, isn't that the best thing ever? Just, you don't have to pay these guys at all. As you can see, though, this is really fascinating. After the battle, you get a detailed report of all of the, basically, the weapons that hit, how many times they hit, which weapons fired, etc., etc. So this is really fascinating stuff. And 583 shots. That's pretty amazing. Now, as you can see here, our resources are still not doing great, especially our gravitonium. And the only way to increase the gravitonium resource is to find a planet with gravitonium and start building on it, you know, as soon as possible. Start trying to colonize it. So I do want to build a new fleet, but I'm a little worried that if we try to build a new fleet, we're not going to be able to support it, support it economically. Let's go ahead and see if we can go to no. Oh, okay, this is not our scout, this is our troop carrier. Never mind. And as you can see, this planet right here is building a research center. You can see those lights on the other side of the planet, of course, representing the locations of people, things like that. Yeah, absolutely, Cable. That's a great point. I mean, you know, you guys see this thing right here. I think that the time sensitivity of this game is much more advanced than a lot of other games in the genre. You know, we could go ultra slow, we could go ridiculously fast at 20 times, where basically a year passes by in like 5 seconds. And if you're playing a space battle, yeah, you can actually go in, you can actually do slow motion, so you could sort of watch your battle progress in slow motion, etc. There's just a lot of possibilities there. Where is our other scout? I could have sworn we had. There he is. Oh no, again! So these are the Logans. They don't like us moving around their galaxy, but at least we're finding what's in their galaxy, which is important. Oh boy, look at that. There's a lot of Logans here. No, we're gonna be out of fuel if we do that. Alright, I'm gonna get the scout back home so we can get some actual fuel. And then I'm gonna move him to Zarak. And let's go to Mu Eridanus. What's this? Enemy fleet in the Mu Eridanus system. Fleet composition is unknown. It's definitely a Logan fleet, but I'm thinking it might be a pirate Logan fleet. We're not sure yet. No matter what happens, though, yeah, we probably have to start building new ships. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start building some more strike corvettes. We'll get 6 going. Resources required to build. And actually, the upkeep cost doesn't cost any gravitonium, so that's good. So let's actually go for 10. Let's go for 11. Let's go crazy. It's going to take a long time, but... Oh no. Hey, that's taking things too far. Quit flying over our territory, openly flying over our territory like that. Get out now. So we would like to offer the Logans strategic cooperation, and this will allow us to basically open our borders for civil aviation. You know, our people can go visit their planet. I don't know why anybody would want to go visit these guys. They do have a massive population, 256,000, which for a starting civilization is actually pretty big. I'm going to try to offer these guys strategic cooperation. After all, we're both evil factions. We don't really trust you, it says here, but, you know, we don't really trust them either. So they're going to try to collaborate. They've accepted that. And that's definitely good. Now, the problem here, rumors are spreading that you're having some kind of trouble here with your orbital infrastructure. We propose handling your defense in case anything happens. If bad guys or space monsters attack, you know? And you can pay us 10% of the minerals you mine. Oh, no. No way. No way. Unfortunately, we do have a pirate fleet outside of our main planet. We don't have an orbital shipyard, so we're going to have to start building our ships over here. And we're lacking the required production facilities, so this could be a major problem, to say the least. Let's see if we can actually get some ships building over here. Actually, we have a research center about to be completed. All right, let's go ahead and build a new ship. Once again, we're lacking the required production facilities. That's not good. And as you can see now our resources are taking a major hit. And this is when things start to get a little more complicated in the game. Now we have to start finding different ways of getting around the galaxy, locating new planets, etc., that are going to be able to, you know, supply us. And Brazuk makes a great point. So the second button at the right at the bottom, this is diplomacy, but over here we have research. We know that. Where are the resources? I think it's economics. It's actually the third. And this is going to basically tell us on each of our planets the sort of production we're creating, so how much gravitonium we're creating, etc. And basically let us just kind of give us an insight into what we're making and the populations we have. Our main planet has 106,000 people. That's pretty cool. And wait a minute, did the enemy leave our system yet? Yes, the enemy's leaving, thank goodness. Unrest is 80%. Oh my goodness, we need to get some police. Let's get some police. No! Oh, this is gonna be a problem, guys. We can't get any cops. We already have an orbital shipyard, so... Not sure why it's reminding us of that. Maybe they destroyed our orbital shipyard. Let's see. Yeah, I think they did. So we need two more planetary factories. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get some planetary factories. This is a research center. We don't want that. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to. Right now, the only things we can build in terms of buildings are orbital shipyards. So we are stuck. And this is another reason why you should really have basically two planets that focus on the military, things like that. The rest of your planets you don't really have to worry about. All right, I think that's a GG. I don't think we can get out of that unless one of you guys know how. The unrest is quite high. We need to get some police here. And unfortunately, we can't even get police due to the building combination. Maybe we destroy one research center. I think that's what we're going to do. Also, guys, if you take a look here at the building summary, you can take a look at essentially what this planet is doing mostly. So this planet is mostly doing production. It's doing some mining of resources as well, some research, no farming whatsoever. So maybe it's a good idea to actually get rid of any farms on this planet and go from there. some charts here. So if you want to figure out how you're doing in the galaxy, you can always go here. And of course, this chart is only going to let you know about the races that you've already found, if that makes sense. So if you take a look here, you can actually see how we started off pretty good in terms of our Imperial development, but we slowly started to teeter off here, whereas these two factions are actually starting to gain quite a lot of research here in the Empire Development Index. The minerals mine, once again, we're not doing so well. In fact, if you look across, the best we're doing in is progress in science. We're still not beating them, but we're getting a bit closer to them. Yeah, unrest is at 80%, Cable. I think that's the problem. All right, let's see if we can change the economic policy. I'm just going to make it... Industrialization. Manage initiatives. So we can basically create initiatives here to improve the unrest on the planet. A little bit of a political touch to the game, if you would, you know, next to the diplomatic stuff. So we could do a curtailed workday. This is going to reduce the hours in a work week. I'm going to start that, and I'm hoping that's going to lower the amount of unrest here on the planet. I think it should, but I could be wrong. We could actually go ahead and do an augmented workday. This increases the hour in a workday. What about a utopia? Let's create a utopia here, and look at that. Look how fast the unrest is going down. Now it's at 42%. And we still need to get some stuff here. But as you can see, that definitely lowered the unrest to about 30%. Very, very useful for us. We're going to get a metallurgic plant. Once again, I'm not understanding the existing buildings combination. This is really frustrating because this was actually a planet built by the AI. We didn't actually mess with this at all. Sometimes, for instance, if you're doing a production-based planet and suddenly you build a farm on that planet, you're going to mess things up. And that's definitely an issue. So in this case, we've somehow messed things up. I'm going to go for balanced. And not enough food. Definitely a problem. Fortunately, we are not a farming planet. Cable Nexus says that's why I call it abstract. It's really a puzzle. Yeah, it definitely is. That's for sure. Alright, guys. Well, we are getting close to the end of this stream, but I don't want to end this before actually showing you guys, once again, especially those of you that are new or just joined the stream, the new faction in the game. Now, it's not just a new faction. We also have new scientific parameters, new research options, etc. But I'm going to show you guys the new faction which we have in Lumens, and that is going to be the Lumens themselves. As you can see here, these guys look really interesting, almost like a plant kind of organism. It looks like they might have one eye on top here, but I'm not sure if that's an eye or just part of their complex structure. We're really not sure. There's actually a history here. Lumen appeared in the observable cosmos relatively recently. Ancient chronicles have no mention of them, though Gavakans think that's because back then the Lumens masked themselves as angelic creatures and the bearers of civilization. Humans and Vagalars completely disagree. Wow. So as you can see, these guys have definitely managed to make themselves known across the universe. And this is the new race. It's definitely, I would probably call them, if this was an RPG, I would call this a chaotic evil race. The Lumens are definitely evil. Once again, their main focus is trying to start wars. They draw energy from the actual star system around them, and they're not the fastest race. Their exploration isn't great. They can't move great distances without a tremendous amount of fuel. They consume a lot of food, etc. But overall, a very fascinating race to play as, for sure. Sure we can. Cable Nexus, that's actually a really cool idea. So we're going to go ahead and change the settings here to just make a massive map, basically. So we're moving the stars to 1,000, and you can mess with this all you want. You know, basically however many stars you want in your galaxy. We're going to make the tunnel density massive, and the research speed, we could just leave that. And we're just going to jump in just to take a look at the size of the galaxy here. This time I'm going to just take a different faction. I'll take the humans. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Actually, kind of, the mouse almost doesn't go all the way out. I mean, just look at that. This is just a tiny section of the galaxy. Like, we're right here, right? I mean, that's so cool. That's so cool. Thanks, Cable. That was a great suggestion. So look at that. It really gives you room to build. Now, as the humans here, we've actually started sort of in the middle of the galaxy. And I personally prefer to start in the middle because when you start on the side, you can't really expand out. You have to expand inwards. But here, we can expand outwards and take a bunch of territory for the great human alliance, I think. But yeah, Rody Metal says wow, and yes, it is a wow. That is a huge galaxy. Look at that. We can even move around, get a nice little view of it. Just imagine, this is just one slice of the universe. You can see, of course, tons of other solar systems back here. Just massive. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for stopping by and watching some Polaris Sector. I know a lot of you guys that are watching this particular Let's Play are much more proficient at the game than I am. I'm definitely still a Polaris Sector noob, but I'm having a lot of fun with the game. I really like the new factions. I like I like the old factions. I like just the style of the game. I think my only complaint about the game is the lack of leaders. You know, one thing I really like is sort of a political aspect of a sort of a space game. And as far as I can tell, and I could be wrong, there are no real leaders in Polaris Sector. You know, you're just playing as a race, and you sort of have to imagine what sort of leaders that race would have. Obviously, some races are more violent and aggressive than others, but besides that, you know, the leaders are lacking, which I really would love to see some leaders like you see in Stellaris. For some reason, it draws me into the game a bit more. We got some massive stars here in the solar system too, like the Spica. Take a look at this one, guys. This is a B-type star. Stars are very energetic, and I believe these would be known as a blue giant. And I'm pretty sure that the blue giants basically spell the death of a star, when a star is about to die. And of course, we've got the Polaris system. O-type stars are very hot and extremely luminous, with most of their radiated output in the ultraviolet range. These are the rarest of all main sequence stars. Some of the most massive stars lie within the spectral class. So these are extremely hot stars. Basically, if we were orbiting a star like this, we would be in serious trouble. Earth wouldn't exist. We would just be a burned out crust of a planet, and nothing would exist. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I just find the game so fascinating. Really, you know, realistically speaking, this could be a 10-hour stream. That's how massive this game is, and that's how long it takes to really, you know, sort of move forward, create your empire, have a bunch of wars, and just sort of expand throughout the galaxy. So be prepared to not only learn the game, that part's fairly easier, but be prepared to spend some time building your perfect solar system or your perfect galaxy here in Polaris Sector. Thank you so much, guys. Have an awesome day. We're going to let Muso here share some channels with you guys, and I hope you guys will pick up the Lumens DLC. I also hope that those of you guys that have not yet picked up Polaris Sector will take a look. Thank you, G. Thank you, Rody. Thank you, everybody. Really glad we got to take a look at this. No problem, Cable. No problem.